Are there people who don't lose weight on Ozempic? Ozempic has been touted as this miracle drug, but it doesn't work for everybody. Today I'm going to show you why Ozempic isn't working for you and other people and how to change that. So if you fall into the category where you're not losing weight from Ozempic, then today is your lucky day because I'm going to show you exactly why you're not and what you've done wrong and what you can do about it quickly. I had a client who came in and he had been on Ozempic for 2 years. And he said, yeah, in the beginning, I lost 20 pounds and then I plateaued. And my doctor got me to the highest dose possible and my weight just stayed the same. And the biggest frustration for him is that he had digestive issues. He just didn't feel as good as he did when he first got on it. And he said, look, I hear you're the peptide king. I want to know what exactly I should do. And is this peptide the right one for me? And so many of you have probably struggled with that same situation where you feel like, man, I did well in the beginning, but now I'm stuck. Or even worse is we have a lot of clients who they lose a lot of weight and then their insurance won't cover Ozempic anymore, or their doctor won't write on the prescription, or they just don't want to stay on it for a variety of reasons. So there's 3 reasons why you're not losing weight on Ozempic. Number 1, if you think of the amount of protein that you're eating, when your appetite is turned off by this GLP-1 agonist, and an agonist is just simply what that means is you're getting more expression of this glucagon-like peptide. And that's what Ozempic is it's expressing this GLP-1 so that you feel full faster. So it regulates our appetite control because, as you know, one of our human biological needs is energy. And we are hardwired to look for energy from fat, from salt, from sugar, and we seek it out. So if we can turn off that mechanism in our brain, or at least stabilize it, that's how people have been able to shed the weight. But if you're one of those who it's stuck, you want to first look at your protein quantities. So the number 1 reason that people don't lose weight on Ozempic is they stop eating protein. And protein can be sourced from a variety of places, from really healthy meats. You can get certain types of protein from plants. But the problem if you stop eating protein is your muscles can't regenerate themselves. And your muscles are the largest organ in your body. So when I look at longevity, I always am looking at how healthy is your brain, how fit is your cardiovascular system, and what is the span of health in your muscles. And so it's muscle span and strength span. And your muscles can grow in 2 ways. One is if you eat protein, then your muscles, it causes what's called proteostasis. The second way is when you lift weights. When you have resistance training, then your muscles have to adapt. And what happens with most people on Ozempic is you're not eating enough protein, your appetite's down, and you start losing energy. And it's like a battery that just starts losing its charge and you don't fully recognize that. So one of the things that you can do right now is think about what your ideal weight is. So maybe your ideal weight is 200 pounds. And you're saying, okay, well, how much protein do I need? I'm 220 pounds right now, I got another 20 to go. Well, this is where you want to aim for 200 grams of protein every single day. And you want to make sure you're digesting those proteins. So this is where adding in peptides like BPC 157, KPV can really help the digestive system. But you can also do something simple like adding apple cider vinegar and lemon juice in water, which will open up the bile secretions in your gallbladder and your liver so that you can emulsify fats and break them down easier. And then the apple cider vinegar helps activate the enzymes in your stomach. And it actually stabilizes the hydrochloric acid. So when you're going for 200 grams of protein, step 1 is make sure that you can digest the proteins. Unless you don't mind having like a putrefied chunk of meat in your gut that starts to rot. All right, I don't recommend that, but you want to break it down, digest it. And so when you're thinking 200 grams of protein, what does that even mean, Regan? Well, step 1 is 1 pound of meat is roughly 100 grams of protein. And what we've found and what the literature shows is the human body can assimilate and break down and process proteins from meat sources about twice as efficient as we can from plant sources. And so I know vegetarians and vegans out there, you're not going to like this. For most of us, we can break down these animal proteins a little easier. Now, when you think of a pound of meat being 100 grams of protein, that means How can I get 200 grams of protein in? Well, that will require you to eat 2 pounds of meat. And the meats that is going to have the highest level of metabolic activity in your body are going to be the leaner cuts of venison. So if you got a deer hunter in the family, just make sure you kiss up to him or her and get some of that venison. But that's a really lean source of protein and it will turn on fat burning. Lamb. Lamb actually has part of its linoleic acid. It's an enzyme that allows you to start burning fat more efficiently, and it's a really good source of protein. Grass-fed, grass-finished beef. Now, I grew up on a cattle ranch in Idaho, and so if you don't like eating beef, I just don't think that this video is for you because I may get disowned by my family. So keep it between you and I if that's your thing, if you don't like beef. But actually, beef can be really good for the B vitamins. The B12 in some of this grass-fed, grass-finished beef is very nutrient dense. And I know a lot of people say, oh, I'm watching my cholesterol and the cardiovascular health, but actually that's been disproven in many cases. It's really how you digest these meats is what's going to yield the result you're looking for. Yes, you can do some chicken, some turkey. Those meats can disrupt some of your omega-6 fatty acids in your body, so I'd limit those. But that's step number one. The second thing that I find that people aren't doing when they're not losing weight on Ozempic is they're not doing any kind of physical activity. And so we've got a very streamlined approach in what you want to be doing from a physical fitness perspective when it comes to your body's ability to lose weight. One thing you want to do every day is high intensity interval training. And so what that means is even if that's just like for 1 minute out of the day where you go full in on activity, that will trigger fat burning hormones. The other thing that you can do is like calisthenics. Doesn't require any kind of equipment, but just do some burpees. If you're familiar with the Spartan race, I think Joe DeSena will be really proud of you for doing some burpees right now. So drop and give me 20. Let's see it. That's looking good. All right, keep going. Yeah, just like see how many you can get. And then what I've created is what's called the Fitness 50 benchmarks. And these Fitness 50 benchmarks are created for one of my mentors, Dan Sullivan, who I have the pleasure of working with on his health as well. And this Fitness 50 at age 100 tool, it allows him to look into the future and say, what does a fit 100-year-old want to be doing that a fit 50-year-old can do? And there's 11 core benchmarks that you can grade yourself on. Now, Dan Sullivan's 80 and he can do these, and he's got a goal to live to be 156. So I don't know what your ambition goals are, but physical fitness is going to be a key component. Now, the third thing where people get stuck is they're not hydrated, because when your hunger gets turned off, hydration becomes really key. And so you want to make sure you're hydrated. And that means half your body weight in ounces. Make sure that you're adding minerals, electrolytes. Magnesium is a very powerful mineral that you're going to need, especially as you're losing weight. So make sure you're getting adequate levels of those. And then finally, look deeper at metabolic dysfunctions. If you haven't addressed your hormones, you want to address your hormones. Your thyroid hormones are critical for you turning on the fat burning engine. You want to look for insulin resistance. You want to look for any kind of testosterone imbalances as well, because testosterone is the hormone that allows us to hold on to muscle. And then finally, the big one that I see are mitochondrial imbalances. And this is where you can use this peptide called MOT-SC. And MOT-C is a mitochondrial encoded peptide. And what it does is it turns on this pathway called AMPK that allows you to shed weight off and burn that as an energy source. So when you use MOT-C with Ozempic, you're going to find that your weight loss just improves substantially, and especially if you're working on the digestive system with like BPC, working on growth hormone pathway. And not only that, but you'll create more insulin sensitivity and you're going to have better energy. So your challenge is to start doing your burpees. I want 1,000 burpees. Okay, I'm joking. Just even start with 10 burpees a day, get your high intensity. Make sure you're eating the quantities of protein, 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. Make sure you're digesting that. And the third thing is lots of hydration. Apple cider vinegar, lemon juice. So here's your ageless future. And if you like this video, go watch my video on the best peptide alternatives to Ozempic. There's way better ones out there.